Namaskar everyone and welcome to on the balcony on Monday morning. And here we are again. It's a little bit of a dark day. I'll give you an idea of how it is. There we are. That's how our day looks today. So you can see what's happening. But it really doesn't matter how the day is. It's more about how our consciousness is. Yeah, thank you everyone. Wonderful to be with you again. It's a little dark, as you can appreciate, but nevertheless the inner light is strong. And I want to begin a little bit this morning with a centering. And I've always said to center the seer in you, the witness in you. Stay centered. Begin to observe everything that is happening at every level of your being. Physical, mental, and even as you observe the thought space, it's an energy space, a creative space for creating thoughts. So you can observe that space and you can actually feel the energy of that thought space. It's a head space. It's a mental space. So you can actually feel that energy there. Just stay in the beautiful creative field of the mind. Without creating thought, without the compulsion to create a thought. And use the breathing to connect with every level of your being. Are you aware of your body and its grossness and its connection to the earth? Are you aware of the water element? Well, here it's a little bit of a dark day, so it has that kind of moisture feeling in the atmosphere. And are you aware of the light? The fire energy? Are you aware of the air? Are you aware of the space in which we exist and which we can move in? So begin to create that holistic awareness of being. And you need to see this from a deeper space of seeing, so you can really get into the depth of this sensory experience of the elements. Who's the experiencer? It's in the consciousness. It's the ego in the consciousnness field. But there's an I, and that I will always be present so long as you have a form, so long as there's a apparent or seemingly separation between you and the infinite consciousness. So let's begin with that space of silence, where the seer is observing. Listen to the silence at the back of the mind. And know that this seer is nothing else but the universal consciousness that is in us, that is doing the seeing. But we, in the ignorance and in the limitation of a form, we have this feeling of being an individual, an ego. So let your ego be able to appreciate the silence of being, the expansivity of being, and to resonate with the divine. And this morning I'm going to use the Gayatri mantra just to center Om Bhurbo Swar. And that's addressing all the chakras, all the dimensions of consciousness, all the lokas. Om Bhurbo Swar. Tat Savitur Varenium. That's relating to that transcendental energy, power that manifests as light, and it's worshipable. Tat Savitur Varenium. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. So we meditate on that cleansing field of light that is divine. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Illumine my intellect, O inner light. illumine my intellect. Let me see differently. Let me perceive differently. Let me perceive in the light. Let me be full of sattva. Sattva is that quality of harmony, balance, equipoise. Let me be filled with sattva. Dhiyo yona prachodayat. Om Bhurvuvasva. Tatsaviturvarenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yona prachodayat. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So we are really asking in this prayer to be led into that field of light where all ignorance will go. So yesterday in my darshan at the Guru Gita, I spoke of this world as not as a paradise, but as a place where we work out karmas, karma bhumi. So we don't expect this world to be a world that is what is the immortal paradise. It's a transient world. It's temporary, it's moving, it's changing. And so we call this a false world. It's like a dream. A longer dream than what we experience in the sleeping dream. And I say, because we carry this body in our consciousness field and we carry the ego in our consciousness field, they become a burden at some point. We begin to feel the pain of these bodies when they are dark, when they are experiencing imbalances. We begin to feel that pain of carrying the body and the ego, the gross body, which is the physical, and the ego. And we are not able to experience something deeper or to experience our transcendent self, our self that is beyond pain, beyond the duality, beyond the light and darkness. There's another field there, and that's a field of constant joy. It's a field of bliss. We call that ananda. So that field is ever present in you. It's your reality, it's your essence, it's your destiny. And we need to more than anything else, to be able to center in that field of being. That's what this whole journey is about. And only then we can really enjoy this play of duality, this sensory experience of the world. So even as pain feature in the periphery of it, in the gross body or in the ego, even though pain features there, at the inner we know that there is no pain. There's an experience of no pain. There's a feeling of no pain. So that is where we want to go. And now we need to remember that this whole world, in all its academics, all these universities, everything there is predicated on the whole sensory experience. All the measurements of science are done through the senses, through the human senses. So what they're doing is measuring what they are perceiving in the human world. But there's another field of perception which the scientists can't really catch. So how they will know about it. So that's where these mystics, that is the world that they experience, and that is the world they know as reality, and that's the world behind the curtain of this physical world. So as we grow in consciousness, we'll begin to feel the resonance of this world inside of us. We'll begin to feel its reality, and we'll want to know it. We'll want to understand what is in me that is resonating with something more. And then the wisdom of the mystics will resonate in us. We'll want to know it more. We'll want to experience it as they are. And that is what should drive us. So I know that all of you who are listening to me, you know that there is another world. Amazing that when Christ spoke about this at his time, in the darkness of the Kali Yuga, he was crucified for saying the truth, that the kingdom of heaven lies within you, that there is another world. And don't lay a treasure in this world, but in another world. And he said that he's the Lord of that world. He's the master of that world. And he spoke of a kingdom that is far beyond the physical. And people never understood it. They crucified him. They call it blasphemy, going against the idea of God. But today we are able to appreciate that inner world more. But I respect science. I grew up in the scientific field, but it's not it belongs to this field. It belongs to this field. the other world cannot be perceived through the human senses. So you need another set of senses. You need astral senses. You need non-physical senses. And that is what you developed through the process of yoga and the other fields of mysticism, like the Qigong and Tai Chi and Taoism, and it's another field. And of course, the field of subtle energies. So it's extremely important that we begin to seek to notice this field and to shift our centering into that field. And that's what I'm trying to guide you and to inspire you to experience. So we need to hold a possibility, when it resonates with us, of that other field, that we can feel another energy inside of us, that there's a perception of something different that is coming to us. So we need to welcome that field. And that is the world that I speak about. That is the science that I speak about. That is the field that I speak about. That's the experience that I speak about. We need to know it because it's beyond the physical. And when we are so caught up in this world and identified with it, we cannot see the other because they're mutually exclusive. When you're in one, you can't get to the other. So you need to learn to shift your perception from this human world. And that's why we meditate. We close our eyes, close this world off to shift the perception to another world inside so we can experience that world. So that's why meditation is so important. Not to just sit and be still, but to make that journey inside, moving away from the physical world, shutting off the senses, so that we can begin to experience the reality of another world, so that we can center deeper and deeper in the consciousness into another field of experience. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that exciting? I think it is. My whole life was spent in getting to the experience of that world and knowing that world and knowing it fully. When you begin to know that world, it's a tremendous excitement, because then you realize that the individual that you are has no real power, but that which is behind you, that which underlies your existence, that which is your essence, that which is your reality, is the real you. So you need to give way to that real you. You need to let go of this human you, this individual you, this ego you, and open up to the possibility of another you behind that you can work with, that you can be an instrument of, that you can be in alignment with, that you can co-create with, and that makes life very exciting. And the beauty is, when you sit with the masters or you enter their presence, whether it's virtual presence or physical presence, you feel that vibration that can lift you into that other space. And that is the remarkable experiences that I've had of the presence of masters, in whose field you can feel such a different experience. You can be lifted on the inside into another world beyond the human senses. So whilst you observe this world and you interact in this world and you experience this world can be burdensome, as you know. It's never a paradise. So you need to use all the experiences of this world to seek the experience of the other. Know the other world. That's your greater reality. And sitting still in meditation is a way of connecting with the inner. But when you connect with the inner, manifest it in the outer. Don't see these as two different worlds. When you make that connection with the inner, begin to manifest it in the outer and experience the joy of sporting in this world or operating in this world from a deeper space of being, seeing more, interacting with the world at more than just a physical level, but at deeper levels of being. So that's the promise the spiritual world holds. So let's take a moment just to enjoy that space. Every time I stay still for a moment, it is just to drink from that space. To stay with me for a moment, no matter where you are. And just breathe in with eyes open or eyes closed. Just breathe in. And breathe into that center, the deepest center of being, where you can feel stillness, or more peace, more quiet. And as you breathe, learn to breathe with the awareness of the entire spinal column. On the in-breath, take your attention up the column, but still keeping the awareness of the entire column. And in the out-breath, you take your attention down. And the up and down is only to center yourself in different levels of power. And as you move your attention, you still keep that awareness of the entire spinal column as you do. So you maintain that strength of the column. And just enjoy the experience of energy that moves in the breath or with the breath. And the beautiful rhythm that you can create with the pranayama. Observing from a space of deep peace. The prana is just amazing. It recharges the nervous system, revitalizes it. The nerves become stronger. The entire spinal column becomes more magnetized. The senses are more pacified. The mind is more quiet, more receptive, more intuitive, more connected. And we can feel completely in alignment when you catch it with the center of being, with our essence, with the divine. So that's our little meditation for the morning. Let's close with a prayer. Om Sahana Bhavatu. May we be protected together today. Sahana Bhunaktu. May we be nourished by the pranas and today and all the things that sustain us in the universe. Sahaviryam Karavavahe. May we find strength in that divinity within us. Together. Tejasvinavaditamastu. May our knowledge be full of light. May our knowledge be full of light. Ma Vidvishavahe. May we stay together in divine unity, despite the diversity that we engage in. Om Shanti, peace. Shanti, peace. Shanti, peace. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for sharing in my message. Let's have an awesome day today. Let's make it the best day that we can. Let's strive for the highest consciousness that we can experience. And let's walk this path together. Have a great day, everyone. Namaskar.